All right, welcome to the podcast. I am Pia Muehlenbeck. I'm here with Kane.
Good evening.
And this is Wine Time, the show where we crack open a bottle of bubbly and suggest you do the same.
Usually I would say if you're driving, wait till you get home. But seeing as we're all at home already, let's just get those bottles popping.
And join us as we chat through the week that was.
So Pia, what are we drinking today?
Oh, I'm so ashamed. I'm so ashamed to say it's just vodka and Coke again.
I mean, it's not a shame. It's not an ashamed thing.
No, it's not wine.
Yeah, I know. I wish that we could actually play up to the fact that our show is called Wine Time.
But it's slim pickings over here in the Muehlenbeck household. We have not got any wine left.
That is actually our fault, though. We should have just bought wine. Like, there is no issue with alcohol in Australia.
Yeah, I know. We just haven't got any. So we're drinking vodka and
I'm going to order
Coca-Cola.
some. I'm just paranoid right now. I just don't want anyone unnecessarily coming to my house.
Yeah, exactly.
So if there's a case of like, I'll buy some wine and someone has to bring it, and they have to see your ID because alcohol delivery requires your ID. That means I have to have a face-to-face with someone.
That. Yeah.
Then I'm freaking out.
Yeah, fair point.
I'm happy to burn through the vodka in my cupboard for the next few weeks.
Okay, and then after that, we'll just like ferment vegetables.
Next week on the podcast, we're drinking leek vodka.
Just potatoes that have been sitting in a bucket for 3 months.
It's disgusting, but we're very drunk. So it has been a good week on the podcast again.
Yes.
I haven't told you this yet.
Why? What?
We are number one.
Where?
In Belarus.
Oh, Belarus. Yes. Where is that?
If you can tell me where that is, I'll give you $1,000.
I obviously like Europe.
I had to Google it. It is somewhere in between Lithuania, Latvia, where we have been number one before, by the way.
Oh, I love this region.
Poland. I know. We are hot in the Middle East. Not the Middle East.
Europe.
Middle Europe. No, it's not called Middle Europe.
Don't offend them now.
Eastern Europe. Sorry, we love you, but we don't know where you are.
It's close to Poland. That means it's close to Germany.
Ukraine and Russia.
So they're obviously here for me.
I think it's my lovely chocolate skin that they're here for. Let's be honest. My dulcet tones and my chocolate skin. Do you remember in the episode of Friends when Phoebe met this scientist guy and she fell in love with him and he went to Minsk on an assignment and left her for like years?
Yes, I remember that vividly.
Minsk is in Belarus.
Oh.
That's where it is.
Oh, okay.
Guys, don't forget to rate this podcast 5 stars. If you do and you see it in the street, you will get a Wakanda Forever, which is the arm cross thing that they do in Black Panther.
It's very cool.
No more handshakes. That is out the window. No high fives, nothing like that. If you rate us 4 stars, you'll get a Spock hand wave, from Star Trek, that weird spready
I feel like that's
thing.
not a hand wave. That's like a hand salute.
It's a salute, yeah.
No one's doing the Spock symbol and waving.
All right, okay. Well, no, don't. Yeah, actually, you wouldn't want to wave with that. That just looks a bit weird. like a happy goat.
Yeah.
That's a bit weird. All right, well, now, if you rate us 3 stars, you're going to get a thumbs up. And if you rate us 2 stars, you're going to get an old school Germy-filled high five.
Oh.
Yeah,
Ooh.
I've demoted any physical contact to 2 stars and below.
1 star, you get a handshake. I think we're all turning into like low-key germaphobes right now. And I'm even like talking to my friends and they're like, so when my parcels arrive, I wipe them down, then I spray them with alcohol, then I leave them in a room for 3 days and then I open them.
Well,
and I think
that's absolutely right. I have a mail room now. We've converted our second bathroom. We're very lucky. We've got 2 bathrooms in this apartment for some reason. I don't know why. And we've made our second bathroom the quarantine mail room. So everything that arrives, because we're still working, we've still got Slinky going on. We've still got our social media going on, albeit a little bit at a less level. And we are putting all of our stuff in a mail room under Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And stuff that comes in on Monday, we open on Thursday.
Yeah.
It's really frustrating because I know I've got a really great pair of decks from Pioneer in the bathroom right now and I want to start learning to DJ, as do you, and we can't do that until Thursday.
Yeah, I know. Also, I think someone sent us Easter eggs and it's Easter. I know. I want to open them so bad.
I mean, I do have 1 entire litre of alcohol spray, so we could just drench it.
What, the actual chocolate?
No, just the packaging, and then open it with gloves.
I think that's a good idea. I think we should do that right after this podcast.
I wanted to talk about billionaires today because I had an epiphany.
Did you?
Yeah, when you watch a movie, any superhero movie, Iron Man, Spider-Man, anything like this, right? Something goes wrong. There's always an evil supervillain that tries to destroy the world. And then the army come out with all their military, they shut down the streets, blah, 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 just like what's happening with us. And then the person that really saves the day is not the military. It isn't the government. I do appreciate the military government. I'm not saying I don't. But the person that really saves the day is the billionaire. It's the Tony Stark.
What, the superheroes?
It's Bruce Wayne. It's one of those guys, right? Mm-hmm. And I've seen so much negative press about Bill Gates, Elon Musk, all these big billionaires, Jack from Twitter, like how negative it is that they are donating and actually kind of semi-controlling the world with their dollars and whatnot. But I think if you look at it a different way, it's super positive. Like these guys with loads of cash, they're just stepping up where the government have not been able to.
Yes.
And they're just helping. And honestly, like these guys this is good news. This is great. Rich people in the world are stepping up to help everyone. I think that's really, really good.
Well, the reason Kane is saying all this is because this week Jack Dorsey, who is the founder of Twitter and Square, he actually pledged $1 billion towards efforts to tackle the coronavirus pandemic. Now that is close to 1/3 of his personal wealth. So it's a pretty significant donation on his behalf.
Yes.
And then if it doesn't take $1 billion to fix the, coronavirus pandemic, he's then donating the rest to girls' health and education. Out of this, there's been a number of billionaires who seem to be calling the shots a little bit.
I mean, we're not in the conspiracy section of the podcast yet, Pia, but let me tell you, as someone that has researched many conspiracy theories, the billionaires control the world, not really the government.
Did you know that Mark Zuckerberg donated 30 million as well?
Million or billion?
30 million.
Pathetic.
Chump change.
So Apple and Nike have made face shields.
Yeah.
Which is just genius. Like they have the materials. They already manufacture. They are manufacturing companies. I know that at the heart of Apple is tech and at the heart of Nike is sport, but they are actually manufacturing companies. They make one thing 1 million times over and then sell it. So they have factories. Yeah. That's what they do. And the fact that Nike literally have the same materials that medical professionals require in their factories in all across America is fantastic because they've been able to take the padding. I think it was the padding that's normally in the Nike Air 180, and they've used that as the pads for the forehead. And then they've taken standard perspex, bent it round. They've taken standard shoelaces from the Nike shoes, and then they've made those the head strap. And there you have an amazing face mask.
So they're shields, though, right? Not masks.
Yeah, shields are very important as well as masks. Masks protect you from breathing, but also if you're in a hospital environment where there's lots of people coughing and sneezing and whatnot, you need your eyes protected. You need your entire face protected, really. It also stops you touching your face, which is a good thing. So there's many reasons why you need a mask.
So it's not like a respirator. It's more so that you don't really touch your face and you don't get any fluid particles landing on your face.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, I think it's very important. I know that people say that you've got to stay 1.5 to 2 meters away from each other, or in Australia we say one kangaroo. I'm a firm believer that if you can smell someone's fart, that means you're too close.
Yeah, I know. Kane, literally, we have to go on a dog walk, right? Because we've got to walk the dog, and he will walk so much further away from everyone else because sometimes, when you walk past someone and you can smell the residual perfume or cologne or, God forbid, fart, that's when you know that there are particles in the air that were on that person.
When you fart, your butt cheeks clap, right? The clapping is air coming out.
I'm dying. I'm checking out of this podcast.
And the smell is
methane.
It's poop.
It's methane.
It's poop floating.
It's gas.
I don't think it is. Sometimes that smell, I know what methane smells like. I've smelled pure methane, and I've also smelled a pure...
When have you smelled pure methane?
I've also smelled pure, and... I can tell the difference, right? And sometimes when you smell a fart, it is pure. So you have to understand that is floating in the air. So if you can smell that, coronavirus is a lot smaller. It probably can float further. I like to keep a bigger distance, which I think is perfectly reasonable. So what Pia's trying to get at is when we walk the dog, if there are people on the sidewalk, myself and Pia walk down the middle of the road. And she hates it, but I think it's perfectly safe.
Yeah, great.
There's an interesting movement happening, I think. I think a lot of people are realising now what really is important to people.
Yeah.
And I think nature is people are realizing now they're stuck in their home, they're not allowed to go out. I think people are going, oh my goodness, nature is such a big thing for me.
Yeah, I think people are really regrouping and actually looking at what is important in their life and to provide well-being, to provide mental, happiness. And at the end of the day, they're simple things, they're really simple pillars that you need to achieve in order for pretty much everyone on the planet to live a good life. Do you know what's really interesting? So obviously, worldwide, the economy is in a huge downfall right now, right? Like so many businesses are closed.
Yeah, for sure.
The economy essentially is taking a huge hit as a result of this pandemic.
Hibernation.
Yes. And the one thing that I found really interesting is Amsterdam. Have you seen what they're doing?
Are you going to talk about the donut thing?
Yes. So Amsterdam on Wednesday are enacting a new range of principles and guidelines that will sort of guide them with their future policies based on economics and the environment.
Wait, so this is happening?
This is happening on Wednesday.
Right.
They're the first city in the world to adopt something called donut economics. It's written.
I like the sound of that already.
It doesn't mean you get a lot of donuts.
Oh, I don't like it anymore.
They're changing money for donuts.
Yeah. Krispy Kreme, the president of Krispy Kreme's is taking over the country. I'm in.
It's a new way of thinking about essentially what makes a nation prosperous, right? Because right now, every nation is worried about, the economy is strong. We've grown this much in the GDP and things like that. But what does that mean at the end of the day? It just means that everything gets more expensive and everyone makes more money.
Well, it's all about the money, isn't it? That's the problem.
Yeah, but also most countries are like wildly in debt. So many people are still homeless, living in poverty or without equality or healthcare.
Yep.
It's not a system that's working, and it's completely ruining the planet.
Yes,
right?
100%.
As it stands, it's all about how do we make the most money without any consideration for the planet's well-being.
Well, we often try and make the most amount of money and then work out afterwards what we can do to fix the damage we've done.
Exactly.
Which is just a little bit the wrong way.
It's a new way of looking at what we can be doing after the coronavirus with basically an economy that needs rebuilding, right? And there are essentially some new principles that we need to put into place. So what they've set out is this thought process where the inner ring of the donut sets up the minimum basic standards that people need to live a good life.
Right, okay.
Which so many people aren't accessing.
So across all sectors?
Across all people in the entire world, so many people aren't meeting the basic needs of food, clean water, housing, energy, sanitation, healthcare, education, things like that, right? Your basic human needs. And then on the outside of the donut, like beyond the donut, are the requirements of the planet so that we don't overshoot.
Got it, right. So
it's
like a circular graph that opens out from the middle in all those different sectors.
Yeah. So on the outside of the donut, you're focusing on things like the climate, soil, oceans, the ozone layer, biodiversity,
right,
so that the planet stays in balance and our economic endeavors don't overshoot that and ruin the planet.
As someone who loves the planet more than money, I think that idea is great. I do also think it might work in Amsterdam because they're not a huge business hub of this world, but you try and tell that to a huge multinational corporation and you're then basically having to put caps on how much trade they do.
No. It's just about what kind of trade they should be doing.
Right, okay.
So what they're saying is that the goal of economic activity should be about meeting the core needs of all within the means of the planet. So why are these huge corporations not working on providing sanitation and housing?
Well, I mean, that's what's happening now, isn't it? You got Apple, who have typically been a luxury item brand. Nike, luxury item brand. They sell sneakers for $300, $400, $500, $600. Now they are creating actual essentials for the planet as well, and also donating them.
Yeah.
And this is going to be a sliver off their top line for
Yeah.
the year. So maybe that's what needs to happen. Maybe, if you do shop with Apple, Apple should also be donating stuff to healthcare and medics that require it and blah, blah, blah. And that could be great.
Even beyond healthcare, there are enormous economic opportunities in, sustainable energy.
100%.
And providing everyone with enough food and things like that. Yeah. So that's where economic activity should be lying, and not in just silly consumerism that actually ruins the planet. Yeah. So it's just a new way of looking at things, and I find that really interesting.
I think that's going to be that could actually be a really big thing when we come back. I think everyone's having this reset time at home, and we're thinking, we're going, all right, so we're at home now. What is actually important to me? It's my family, it's love, it's compassion. It's kindness, it's health. Money, yeah, that is important, but we're all, in a lot of countries, we're all getting kind of a basic universal wage right now.
Yeah, and a lot, a lot of people are actually researching that as a more permanent thing.
I mean, the universal wage has always been something I've been very interested in. It does kind of slightly lean towards a more communist, socialist structure. So a lot of people are going to steer clear of that, but that's probably a discussion that's a little bit too deep for a drunken podcast. But
here's us trying to have an intellectual conversation like 3 vodkas in.
The number of deaths in New York today is double what they would normally have.
Oh.
Now that number might change in the next few weeks, but today, at time of recording, it was double what they normally have.
On a daily basis?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They are now burying dead bodies in parks because there is not enough space. The funeral homes can't cope, the crematoriums can't cope. Like there's nowhere to bury these people.
Yeah.
Do you not think it's weird obviously, unfortunately death is also a business, crematoriums, funerals, coffins, blah, blah, blah. Do you not think it's weird that those businesses don't have double capacity?
Yeah.
Is it not strange they haven't planned for that? Like, and that's not just in New York, by the way, that's everywhere. Every country is freaking out about their hospital support structure because they might get double the amount of customers. That seems to me like hospitals are just massively underfunded.
Yeah, but I guess maybe there's always been like a steady number of like daily deaths.
But why are we not prepared for any form of emergency? Bush, when he was a president, was saying we've got to prepare for a pandemic. There's like these videos are going around Twitter right now going, he said that we should be prepared for this 10, 20, whatever, how long.
Did he?
Yeah. I mean, everyone knows that this is coming again. We've had Ebola, we've had SARS, we've had MERS, we've had H1N1. There's loads of stuff. Bill Gates has said, he's like a smart businessman, and he has companies that make vaccines already. He said another pandemic is coming.
Yeah.
And yet we are now in a situation where hospitals are freaking out because they might get double the amount of customers. And they're just overwhelmed. I don't get it. Like, why are we not preparing for this? We put $1 trillion billion into missiles.
Yes, that's the crazy thing.
Right?
Yeah.
What the hell?
The amount of funding that goes into like military operations for like, building missiles and things like that, rather than actually safeguarding or preparing for something that could happen to your own nation.
Like
that's crazy.
I know. In 2020, let's be absolutely honest. And I don't mean to tempt fate here because we've already had enough this year. But if there was to be a war, you would launch a bioweapon. You wouldn't launch a missile.
Yeah.
We don't need to be making more missiles. That's so old school.
Yeah. But if you look at the budget from like every major country that goes into the development of missiles and weapons and all that sort of stuff, what for?
I know.
It's just a show on who's got the most weapons.
I know.
So that they can intimidate the other countries.
Well, hopefully this whole situation that we're going through right now will make lawmakers globally revisit their spending.
Yeah.
And maybe they'll think, well, let's spend more money on the environment. Let's spend more money on healthcare. And maybe we don't need as many guns.
That's what I'm saying. Like this whole donut principle, if you focus on everyone's well-being first and foremost, if everyone has access to like, good water, good food, healthcare, education and housing, at the end of the day, most people's immune systems would take a massive jump.
Well, also, if you focus on those things, crime goes down.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people
turn to crime because they're in need.
Yeah, exactly. Like people aren't like, I'm not stealing a TV because I have one.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I know. A lot of the time it's not, it's not just delinquents for the fun of it. It's literally because they need to.
Yeah. And that's something that really needs to be addressed, especially in America, because they have a crisis right now.
I think literally so many systems of our current society need a huge overhaul. And I think this might be the catalyst.
I agree. I think this is going to bring it. I think it's going to bring it in a big way.
Seeing what Amsterdam is doing is honestly very, very inspiring, because every country is going to have to pick up the pieces here from an economic standpoint. And they need the pressure from us, from us people and us consumers to be like, you know what? We actually care about nature. We care about the planet. We care about the, overall well-being of our future and our children and things like that.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that's something that really needs to be addressed, rather than, let's spend, $10 billion developing a new missile.
In other good news, though, the planet is actually doing really well. Outside of us, the planet is thriving.
I know. I keep seeing all these videos of like animals running through cities.
Yeah. I saw that like 1,000 monkeys were running through some city in Thailand because tourism had gone down so much that the monkeys could run free. It was kind of scary, and it also did remind me. It's a little
Planet of the Apes.
It reminded me of the movie 12 Monkeys, which is not a great situation to be in. But CO2 levels are down, animals are thriving, the air is so much clearer. It's going to be interesting as well when we come back from this whole situation, because I don't think we're going to shake hands.
No,
I don't want to.
No, I don't want to either.
Like, I know I keep joking about Wakanda forever, but legitimately, I ain't touching your hand.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's kind of a weird thing to do in the first place,
it's
right?
Gross.
Yeah, it's kind of like everybody has to touch each other right away.
And
in
also,
a meeting and stuff, like people that you don't know where they've been, you don't know if they've been to the bathroom.
Well, this is the weird thing, right? So, like, when we go out with our friends, our circle of friends and beyond, bigger circles, like go to Coachella, go to the bar, go to the pub, go to a restaurant. At some point in my day, I end up going to the bathroom with a mate. And I reckon 1 in 2 of my friends take a leak and then just walk out the door.
You're kidding.
Nah, so they're touching
Do you reprimand them?
I mean, no, but they are touching their dingling and just leaving. Now, if they're touching that, then they're going to probably be picking their nose. They're probably going to,
Yeah, they touch their dingling and then they go out and shake someone's hand.
Exactly. Isn't that disgusting?
It's totally disgusting.
I wash my hands.
I'm glad.
Thankfully. But like, I legit don't want, now that I know that my friends who do this, I definitely am never shaking their hands again.
Yeah.
So I can use the coronavirus as an excuse. Oh, sorry, mate, I'm not shaking your hand, coronavirus. But actually, it's because I know your hygiene is gross.
Yeah.
And you are a scumbag.
Everyone else was like, let's do, fist bumps or like elbow touches.
That's so weird.
I'm like, why would you go up and elbow touch someone? That's really odd.
But
at least have like a cool greeting.
I mean, I do love the Japanese bow.
Oh, I know. It's so beautiful.
That looks so cool.
Yeah.
I would adopt that. But
yeah, me too.
I figured I have to adopt something that is completely fictitious, like Wakanda Forever, so that I'm not
culturally appropriating something. Yeah.
And also, if I can tie in a Disney Plus sponsorship with that. Imagine I get $5 every time I Wakanda Forever one of my mates.
You should definitely pitch that.
I'm gonna get that pitch deck done tonight. Oh, something else which I saw in the paper today, which I don't know why I say paper. I haven't touched a bit of paper in 10 years. Something I saw on the internet today. Dr. Fauci, the little short dude who looks like the Fonz, who keeps hanging out with President Trump at all of his briefings, right?
Yes.
He's a cute guy. I think he seems like a nice enough person.
Yeah.
He's a very cool doctor, and he does seem to know all the same stuff that I know about the coronavirus. So clearly we visit the same websites.
Clearly you're equally educated.
Honestly, probably. It's been announced yesterday or the day before that his security detail has had to be increased.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Why? Is he getting threats?
No, he's getting unwanted sexual advances from women because he's such a cute little dude.
Is he actually? And he had to get security? You're kidding.
No, they were like, he's getting increased advances from admirers.
I mean, he's famous now.
Yeah.
He is like, he's gone from like just being like your regular doctor, I guess, to being on the national delivery every day.
He'll be on Oprah by the end of this year. Like, as
He probably
the
already
new
is.
Dr. Phil. But I thought that was so fun. Like, he's obviously getting a lot of death threats as well and all this sort of stuff that comes with being a politician.
What a problem to have at this point. Too much female attention.
Too much clunge.
Oh my God.
Did laugh this week though, because Donald Trump said that obviously they've got a massive shortage of masks in the whole country, and Trump just went on his public address and was like, you can use a scarf.
Okay, well that's interesting.
That ain't working, let me tell you that, and I'm not even a doctor. Since being told I'm not allowed to touch my face, I touch it 16 times a minute now.
I loved watching that
annoying.
address by the American politician who was like, don't touch your face. And then she licked her finger to turn the page.
It's just made me realise that we are, as a species, we're disgusting.
We just touch our face or we poke and prod ourselves non-stop. So should we talk about some Pika Crew responses?
Yeah.
So Kane actually put on his Instagram a question to everyone saying, in the return to normality, like when this is all over, what aspects of pre-quarantine life will you not go back to?
Not is being the operative word. So
Yes.
you've had this forced break. You've been told to stay at home. When you're allowed to go out, what are you not going to go back to?
And you had so many responses.
So many.
Yeah, and really interesting
People
ones.
are very passionate about this. I think people have had a lot of time to sit down, reflect. A lot of people are at home alone. We're fortunate there's you and me and the dog in the house.
Yeah.
A lot of people are single, and as a result, I think a lot of people are thinking quite honestly about how they feel about life. And that's a good thing. I know it can be a little bit lonely, but it's also a very good thing for our personal development to take a bit of introspective time, look at ourselves and go, what would I improve when this is over?
Yeah.
And that was kind of what we asked. And these are the responses.
All right, do you want to read us a few?
Yeah, sure. The first one, which I loved, is saying no to going out with friends because of laziness.
I know.
I'm so guilty of that.
The amount of times you're like, nah, I'm not doing anything.
I know, I always...
Or you say you're busy.
Yeah, I never say I'm busy. I'm always like, bro, I can't be bothered. I'm just chilling. I'm already in my pajamas. I'm already at home.
Yeah.
I'm already watching TV. I've got so many reasons to not see my friends.
All of a sudden people are like really cherishing human connection, right?
Oh,
and
man.
like you never really appreciate what you have until it's gone.
Yeah.
So the ability to go out and hang out with your friends, you know, it's gone at the moment. So I think a lot of people are probably feeling this and being like, why did I say no to that Thursday night dinner?
Yeah, exactly right. There's one here that came in that said, eating breakfast, lunch, and sometimes dinner out every day. We are so guilty of that. We used to eat all of our meals out.
So is this lady saying that she is liking the home cooking?
Yeah.
Yeah, I am too, I'll be honest.
Me too.
I really, obviously, I want to support local restaurants and all that sort of stuff. But Kane and I used to eat out almost every meal. And right now I've been literally cooking everything and our bodies are feeling positive from it. Like we are noticing some really good results health-wise, energy-wise.
Another one that came in, Christy, she said, I think I'm going to continue working out from home rather than going back to the gym.
That's interesting.
That's very interesting because we did our first online gym class with Reunion yesterday and it was weird. Like, I'll be honest, it was very odd.
I liked it a lot
But
though.
I loved it.
I know.
At the beginning, I was really embarrassed because we had an iPad and there was like 20 other people on the call and then the PC was in the middle screen on this little Zoom call and we were like, okay, hi everyone. And it seemed so bizarre. But then by the end of it, I was like, I'm so future.
Do you know that's one thing I'm really finding super interesting in this situation is the innovation that so many businesses are showing.
Yeah.
Like I'm seeing bars offering cocktail packages or, you know, homemade food deliveries where they send you the ingredients of their pizza or pasta, but you have to make it at home. Or like what we did yesterday with Reunion, gyms actually being able to access a global audience rather than just their local, you know, neighborhood.
Yeah.
And saying, hey, let's make these classes available to anyone who would like to tune in type thing.
I reckon there's going to be a massive shift with movies as well.
Why?
Because I'll be honest, I'm a big movie buff and I love going to the movies. But you know what I love more than going to the movies?
Watching a movie at home?
Yeah, of course. It's my couch.
That's been a long time coming though, right?
Yes and no. Movie theatres make a lot of money because you're paying for the individual seat rather than a family. So let's say we hired a movie on iTunes here.
Oh, I
You're paying
see.
$24 for the premiere.
Of course.
But there might be 10 people in your house, which is $2.50, right? Whereas if you go to the cinema, then you're paying, whatever it costs, I don't really know, per person, but it's far more than $25. So actually, they need to rework that business model a bit. But a lot of key movies that were supposed to come out right now are now coming onto Netflix, or they're coming onto iTunes straight away.
Yeah.
And that is brilliant.
Yeah.
Like, that is how I always want to consume. I want to consume my favorite movie at peak time, eating toast and Vegemite. Yeah? I can't do that.
With your dog on your lap.
With my dog on my lap. And if I need to pause it so I go toilet, I can do so.
Yeah.
I can't do that at the cinema.
No.
So this is better. And I will pay a premium for that.
Yeah, I agree.
There's definitely something that's a big thing.
I think actually you're right. I think the cinema business might be in big trouble right now.
I
Because
hope-
it doesn't sound appealing to me to go and sit in a...
Someone else's seat.
Yeah.
I know. But going to the cinema is a great experience. Having a great
Well,
big
it's just a night
screen.
out though, isn't it? It's a night out for a family or a date or something, rather than just vegging out at home. It's like, it's something to do. One that I found interesting is I saw a lady wrote in and said how busy I made myself and how I didn't enjoy the little things in life.
Yeah.
That's interesting, right? That's a very introspective answer. That's someone who's gone, you know what? I'm actually really noticing that. I think our society is really, really focused on jobs, careers, money, and kind of this rat race. But to what end? Is everyone enjoying themselves?
No, most people join the rat race. I saw this stat which was only 1 in 10 people enjoy their jobs.
Wow, that's crazy.
I mean, I get it, right? If you have to do garbage collection,
Yeah.
it pays well in Australia, but maybe you don't enjoy it. Yeah. So there is this very fine balance between enjoying your work and earning a wage, because we all need money to live.
Of course, yeah.
But I think this forced reset is making everyone really rethink what they want to do.
But even beyond just basic work, I think we're always keeping ourselves so busy and we have a stressed out environment all the time. We all expect so much from ourselves, and we all expect ourselves to overachieve and do more and create more and all that sort of stuff. And it's at the end of the day, I think humanity is meant to also just be a little bit slower and actually enjoy, the smell of a flower.
But this is the way government has designed their country. The government designed the country to, you go into education, you get the first bit for free. If you want a good job, you have to do the next bit. The next bit costs a lot of money, a lot of money, right?
Yeah.
And then as a result, when you go to your first job, you've accrued a huge amount of debt before you've even started your job. So you've got debt.
Yeah.
So as a result, then you have to really work hard to pay off your uni debt, your student loan, whatever it may be in your country. Then you may or may not pay that off over 10, 15, 20 years. But in the meantime, you've then accrued a mortgage. So you've got more debt.
Yeah.
And the entire structure of our entire planet, unfortunately, is based upon a debt-driven motivation system. And that is not great. It is just a fact. And unfortunately, it does motivate us all. The reason I work so hard is I have a mortgage, I have a Tesla, I have this, I have that. And I know that if I stop working,
you got bills.
I got bills to pay. Like Beyonce said, I got bills. I can't pay my bills, my telephone bills. I can't pay my bills.
No, she's saying she can. She's saying she can in that song.
Okay, well.
Because she's an independent woman.
All right, well, that just ruined my little ditty, didn't it?
But I loved it anyway.
But you get the idea.
Yeah.
We are all burdened to the system, and that system, and a lot of people that love the whole kind of, conspiracy theory world of the internet attribute that government structure is what keeps us prisoners in our own home, as it were.
Well, I think they think that's the way to keep people productive. But I argue that people would be productive even if they didn't have these pressures of crazy debt and crazy bills all the time. Because most people aren't just... It's not satisfying to just be lying there. It's kind of satisfying for about a week or so to lie there and just veg out and do nothing. And then after that, you kind of want to progress yourself a little bit. You want to maybe learn something or paint something or create something.
I saw this thing which was a really great meme, and it said humans were not designed to work, pay bills, and then die.
Yes.
That is not
Why is that the life cycle?
Well, that's been designed. So this whole reset might give a lot of people a lot of opportunity to relook at what they want. I mean, we're relooking at what our kind of life goals are.
Yeah.
I'm sure everyone is. Now it's time for my favourite part of the show.
What is it?
I
mean, I know what it is, but what is your conspiracy theory?
This episode of the Conspiracy Theories, I'm calling The Rise of the Idiots.
Oh, yes.
Because something has happened in the last few weeks. Every idiot on the planet has become a 5G expert. They've become a scientist beyond my wildest dreams. They have learned so much about 5G.
Yeah, and electromagnetic spectrum.
Oh my goodness. It's crazy. So that's what I want to talk about today.
Okay.
Because seriously, it's getting annoying.
Explain this to me, because I'm seeing so many things. I'll be honest, I haven't looked into it a lot because I've just dismissed it as like, faff.
Faff. Yes, that's probably the best way to put it. Faff.
But explain to me what these people who are really concerned about 5G are on about.
5G is the next version up of 4G. So your phone is pretty fast right now. It uses a 4G frequency. It's quite good, I'm sure you don't wait that much for your YouTube videos. 5G is a bit faster. Actually, 5G is about the same as your Wi-Fi. On November 1st, China launched their 5G network. Very, very close to 4G in terms of the frequency spectrum. Nowhere near X-ray. Nowhere near X-rays. Nowhere near anything that can do any damage. It's a non-ionizing frequency, scientifically proven. Like, if you're worried about 5G, definitely get rid of your microwave. But someone, somewhere, I think it was in Austria or Amsterdam, one of the two, I know it begins with A, they said that 5G affects your DNA.
Yeah, right.
Right? Which is why all the countries that have 5G are affected by coronavirus.
Well, yeah, they're saying that 5G accelerates the spread of coronavirus.
Okay, firstly, we've had 5G for 2 years here.
Also, I've seen that this has been debunked as false news.
A million times.
Entirely. There is no connection at all between 5G and the coronavirus.
No, I've seen this same theory pop up when 2G became 3G.
Really?
Yeah, and when 3G became 4G.
Oh, people always worried about new Gs.
Oh, the G... I nearly said G-string. I don't even know why. I just wanted to get a G-string joke in there. I was like, where's my guitar? Let me grab my guitar and crack a joke.
I mean, look, I get that people are always concerned about radio frequencies because obviously things like gamma rays and like ultraviolet light and all that can be damaging to your cells.
Well, don't.
But I looked it up, and 5G is literally 66 times below what they say could be anything affecting you on an international standard.
And how long?
It does not affect the human body.
How long did that Google search take you?
Like 10 seconds.
Right. So these idiots.
My research for this podcast.
Oh, time is up, and that's where we're going to end today's episode of Wine Time. If you enjoyed this podcast, please make sure you're subscribed and have hit that 5-star rating on this episode. Every little bit helps, so we really appreciate that. If you fancy keeping up with our antics outside of this podcast, you can always follow us on Instagram. The links are in this description, or you can check out our YouTube channel where we post at least 2 videos a week. If you'd like to check out our website, which has heaps of posts as well as all our photo and video presets, head over to kaneandpia.com. That's www.kaneandpia.com. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you in the next one.